government.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was quite a tour. Waiting for April 17th. Now that's when we have the meeting before the judge.
Yeah, that's another one. I wanted to go to that, and I'll be gone.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make a point of being there. So
Are you gonna go here or up there?
I'm going to go to Fort Moorhead. Yeah,
Okay, Moorhead. Okay.
that's I think about enough out of me.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, I got a few things. See if I can keep them all straight. So I went to the zoning
Mm-hmm.
for you. They canceled the first part of it. That would have been the
The Board of Adjustment?
yep. And I get there and he says, no, we won't have a quorum, so we can't have that meeting. So then I went to the next one. An hour later, ran some errands, and that
That's very uncommon.
yeah, very. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And he said he'd text me the day before, but I didn't because some of the other guys were going to be gone. I don't know.
Huh.
All I know is that I only was the second half of it.
At least you were there.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then the main thing we went through that meeting was they were redoing the
Ordinances.
yes, all of the ordinances and everything, updating them to present day. So I think he's gonna bring those to us to vote on, I think.
And he's got the CUP on for today, so.
Okay, so that was that part. Then I went to the West Central Water District court hearing, and of course, it's coming up on the 17th. It's great. The most, if you guys, when you get your mailing or whatever, the map is really helpful, and the way he presented it with that hotspots, I thought that was the best way. So, if you get a chance to look at that at all, that'd be good. Neilsville funding was 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was, I thought was great. So they're able to, they're going to get their pipeline from Climax to Neilsville, and it's going to be 100% paid.
Wow.
And that's from the USDA dollars, Climax to Neilsville. And then there was another portion. Johnson is Senator Johnson is put in a $10 million request for this project. But of that, who knows how much would get, or if it would even pass or whatever. But I just thought I'd add that part.
you were taking notes.
Yeah, I try to. I'm just not very good at it very often.
I think you're pretty good at it.
Laurel. I had a Laurel meeting, and I couldn't get on at first. I finally got on at the end of the meeting, but they already went through the financial part of the meeting. So I met with them a few days later, and it was just with the finance officer and the director, and we went through it all. And I know, Gary, you've explained it some in the past, but how they're going to have a financial meeting, they're going to see how much the rates are going to go up, and then they'll let us know. But it's not terribly confusing, but it's based on usage, and they were using Crookston's when they were explaining to me. They were using Crookston's, even though they're not part of the county. They were using that as the example to explain it, and they think that there's going to be an increase that we will be able to vote on if we agree with them or not, but they'll present that to us if we want to in person to help us understand it more. But it looks like there's going to be let me see how on right now our budget for them, I think they said it was $30,000. So there's a $10,000. They're trying to get $40,000. And I don't know how they're going to go about that. And that could change too, because they still don't know what the final numbers are. And it was kind of a crash course in their financial thing, but they're behind, of course, as Gary's told us that before, that they're running behind and trying to play catch up. So whether the catch up is in a short period of time or a longer period of time will depend on what they're going to request.
Mhm.
So if we want them to come and explain, they will.
But our share is way more than 30,000.
Yes, it is. It's probably
200.
300,000,
Right, but the increase.
the increase.
Yeah, the increase.
Well, it still irks me that we're paying more than what our actual requirement is.
I
Yeah,
was,
they explained that, but it's my first time through it, and it's so
It's very complicated,
very complicated.
very complicated.
Mhm.
And a couple of counties have complained because they thought they were paying more.
Mhm.
And I hope they maybe look at a different way of assessing. I mean, they're still trying to take a 40-year-old plan
Yeah, and they
based on population and
yeah, and they talk
usage. And then counties have cities that are paying also.
right,
Corrections paying almost as much as we are
right.
just for theirs.
Yep,
Okay.
that's what they said.
And that leaves the other four in our county. They're all on the east side.
Mhm.
Myrtle, Foston,
Mhm.
McIntosh, and then Climax, I believe.
Mhm.
Those are very small libraries. And so now they're going to be asking us for all those dollars for those four libraries.
Right.
Now, some counties, I believe, cities assist with that. Corkson, when I was with them, we were throwing in some dollars for that. And also, Corkson owns that library.
And they own it, right?
They
talked about
own
that.
it. So that's good and bad. But if you have to put a roof on, that comes out of the Corkson levy. It
Mhm.
doesn't come out of Valero or anything like that. So so each county's a little different,
Yep.
Mhm.
you know. And
So I requested from her, I says, could you tell me exactly how many card holders we have outside of Crookston in the other three settings that we would benefit from? So she sent me that there was 4,100 and some card holders. I says, well, but she said now it could be more card holders because some families only have one card, and it could be more people.
that's why it's so complicated.
It's-
I mean, how do you come up with the system?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So hopefully they'll come up with something. They're working on it. For me to explain it as a newbie, I'll have them explain it better because they did a pretty good job, I thought, but they still haven't figured out what direction they're going in.
Mhm.
So, oh, and then the last thing, just a fun thing, after the zoning meeting, I went over to the armory where they had the fair, the book, what do they call that? Not a book fair, where the
Oh.
veterans,
And-
Veterans Benefit Fair.
yeah, the
Mhm.
benefit fair, yes.
Yep.
That was very interesting. A lot of people.
I was there.
Yeah. You and I. He sold me a whole bunch of tickets. He didn't make me feel guilty. I didn't feel too bad. Anyhow, that was all fun. All right, that's all I got.
Ross.
So I didn't have any committee meetings or anything like that, but my grandfather did pass away a couple weeks ago, and thank you to the board for the
Yeah.
flowers at the funeral. That was very nice, unexpected, but my family wanted to make sure that we all said thank you. I do have tonight and tomorrow night is East Grand Forks' school referendum task force meetings. Tonight is solely for people in the agriculture community, mainly farmers, and how that proposed referendum will affect them. And then tomorrow night is the actual task force where we have a document, a very large document of basically all the wants the school district, and it's up to this task force to kind of go through and do what we think is necessary, doing tours of the schools and showing us stuff like that. And then we give that to the school board. So it's a very, very interesting, and it's fun to be a part of it. So that's That's all I have.
Okay, Gary?
Well, Joan and I attended the Leadership Summit sponsored by AMC in Nissawah, and started out with the fact that if you're looking to make changes in your county or community, usually there's a lot of denying and resistance on change. So it's a matter of trying to explore what types of needs or assessments are, and then how they can get a commitment from the stakeholders. And they spent a lot of time on that. The one thing I thought was kind of interesting, they talked about how people make decisions and facts or feelings. And he said that about 38% decisions are on facts, and sometimes those facts are just assumptions. Okay, no really concrete information with that, and 90% on feelings. So it's kind of interesting dealing with that, trying to get information from stakeholders, how to do that, and that's really becoming more and more expensive to find out because you're going to have to do mailings out, surveys. We don't have a lot of people coming to our chairs today, getting too involved with. So that's very, very difficult. And then they broke into different groups with different issues. Okay, I think Joan went on wind towers.
Yeah, yeah, mine was Lacaparo County with a large wind farm proposal.
There were several with how they wanted to go do a new public building of some sort. Okay, but I went to one regarding the rifle shotgun scenario. Are you familiar with that?
Mhm.
Where
Well,
some
I heard a lot
counties-
of people talking about it at the Dancing Sky meeting.
everybody. I mean, one of the commissioners said he received over 380 so he got a lot of information back, but it was so 50%. And that is, we didn't have to do that.
No.
No, not around here.
But I think it maybe, I don't know all the background, but I think someone was shot in their car. A child was there. Hunter was out there, was using a rifle. Okay, and that scared a lot of people with that. But basically that it was a 50-50 issue. And I thought that was really interesting. And then they kind of got into the facts, when hunting for deer, is a rifle more safe or is a shotgun? A lot of facts
Mhm.
on that. So some counties have really dug into that to get as many facts as they could. And the group that I was with, I think just south of us, they decided no rifles
Mhm.
because they didn't really want to make any changes until they got a chance to feel this out a little bit more. So sometimes you do have to take a little more time
Mhm.
to get to a
Yeah, and actually
conclusion.
Clay is looking at possibly changing.
But
But
Clay's interesting too, because there was a North Dakota hunter shot a deer on the other side of the river
mhm.
in Minnesota. So that was a little different.
Mhm.
And then that kind of all led to licensing. That we do have a lot of North Dakota hunters that come over here because it's inexpensive license, and maybe that should be increased. But
Well, not if you're from out of state.
Was that North Dakota hunter shooting across the river?
yes,
He
that's
didn't go into Minnesota, just shot across the river.
shot and shot the deer and came and got it too.
Yeah,
Oh, he
which
came and
is
got it.
which is
Yeah.
illegal.
So that
That's illegal.
Hopefully he didn't get caught. Apparently he did.
I'm not sure how that ended, but it's very interesting and always kind of interesting to see what different commissioners are doing with and what they've done to be successful. Then last Monday, I had the opportunity to represent Laurel at their appreciation ceremony at the Moorhead Library. Absolutely gorgeous place. Last time I saw it, it was gravel floor and, empty beams and things like that. But it's very, very, very impressive. And I believe there's going to be a open house in the middle of May, around the 17th, 18th, something like that.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So, Laurel was certainly very supportive of that, and all the employees are in that position now and committed to be there for at least a 3-year contract. So looking on that. And then MRC, Minnesota Rural Counties, I see Chuck was on the Zoom also. And Paul Torkelson, if you're aware of that, he's the chair of the Means and Means. And so I think he has a good hold on what's going to happen, at least with finances. He does believe that the IT monitorization is going to be supported by both parties. It's kind of interesting, we're talking about that, and I think Joan reminded us that they approved $200 million last year for modernization, and Paul was very unsure if that was very well spent because it didn't do anything for the counties. So some things really have to be fixed first on how these dollars are going to be spent and how much and but he did think they were very focused on their and so that obviously that needs to some work. And then he talked briefly, he really does think there will be a bonding bill this year. It's been prolonged for several years, and thinks that there may be things, with water, wastewater, and healthy water. So that might really work well for the Climax pipe going farther south. So that's a possibility. But he also said, there were several things that have already been reviewed, and maybe we need to go back and take a look at those things like the landfills and all that, and start knocking some of those things off before we start looking at new things. So kind of busy, but we'll see. I think there's only about let's see, I think they have to be finished by middle of May, right?
Because it's a short session this year.
Right. I think they have to have their most of the
Let's see what
bonding bills in by the
May 18th, I think.
17th. Yeah, May 18th, 17th by midnight. Everything has to be. And rather, I thought, I don't know why I'm doing this for. Besides punting everything into one big bill, into one vote, that they'd like to go on some individuals. And
Well, that's actually the way it is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because the omnibus bill actually is not correct.
No,
because
it's
they're
a
not
bill
supposed to
that
combine everything together.
6 or 8 people get together and decide what it's going to be, and then it comes back. And
Yeah.
Very political.
very, very well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
certainly when you're looking at 50-50, and then elections coming up here in November, people are really careful on what they want to support or not support. So it'll be interesting. The nice thing, I guess, is we'll know before we go into budgeting what the state's going to be doing.
That's going to be helpful.
Yeah. But, the interesting
maybe
thing,
not
like,
helpful.
with.
It'll be interesting. I don't know if it'll be good or bad.
Yeah. But, with Representative Torkelson's comments, like with the C&D landfills, if MPCA puts those rules in place, we don't have a choice. So, that's kind of
scary.
Yeah. And I mean, and they've admitted, because that was Senator Pappas, that, she admitted that they have no control over what the agencies do. So the agencies can go and do like with MPCA, with the C&D landfills, that they can write the rules, and, the legislature can't, they have nothing to do with it. So, the way some things are done are definitely scary. So, like Gary said, we were at the leadership summit, and so there was a pre summit survey that we were supposed to do, and it talked about like, asking what's a project that you're working on, in your county. And I mentioned about with our software and stuff. So then actually that idea was chosen to be one of the projects worked on Friday morning. So there was this, it had, it's got like all the, you got to figure out like your stakeholders and stuff, and then like, what can go wrong, and is it very serious or not serious at all, possible causes, it's and then like, who and when, everything, like who's involved in it and who needs to be talked about it, or included in the planning of the project and stuff. So it was interesting because I actually had two other county IT people that came into the group, and and so everybody's kind of talking, your acronyms for different companies and stuff, and Tyler was the one that came up, because I mean they do work with counties already, so we'll see how things keep going on that. And then I had we had another long-term support and services meeting, and it was without DHS, and it was just all the county members that are involved on the state work group, and just kind of going over what Walls has in his proposed budget and how those things could affect us, or how they kind of, if they coincide with some of the ideas that our work group has come forth with and things. But the one comment that was made, and it's in regards to the modernization, that the legislators know that it's an antiquated program, that something needs to be done, but they do not want to give the money directly to DHS because they don't trust them because of the previous
Some
funding,
reason why?
so I mean that's where it needs to go, but so I think, I mean, that to me is a really large hurdle to get over. It's because, I mean, we need to be able to work together and to get this going and to get it over the finish line some way. But and then I just ended up joining on the last part of it, but there was a Zoom meeting in regards to the disposal of boat wrap. And like, here where we have a lot of, recreational vehicles and stuff, it was kind of interesting. So the DNR has been working with, I think it was Otter Tail, and like then they worked with, Hubbard and Beltrami to have like collection locations. And this boat wrap, like there's stipulations of how, like when you take it off a boat, to cut above where all the straps and the binding is. So then you just have the main plastic. And then as long as it's clean, then they shred it up and it gets reused into like trash bags and those type of things. So they're looking at hopefully expanding, that program. And, then there was a question of, because the bag wraps that farmers use, for their silage and haylage and those type of things is very similar to the boat wrap. And, if in time that then we can get some type of a recycling, collection program with that too. So, and that meeting was taped, and so it's going to be on the DNR website. And
Why is DNR involved in that?
well, that's because of it being a
Oh,
natural
with
resource.
boats and
Mm-hmm,
in the
mm-hmm.
fields, I get it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I had Clearwater, one watershed, one plan. We had officer elections, and I was voted in to continue as chair. And we went over our financial update for the FY23, which that grant needs to be used up by December 31st of this year. And then there's the FY25. So these are mainly all 2-year grants, but the first one we actually got a extension on. So that's why it's into this year. And then gave the approval to apply for the FY27 grant funding. And for the Clearwater watershed, there are a lot of projects, that they have, on their list. So there's not going to be an issue of them not being able to spend the money that comes with these grants. So that was, good to hear. And then I have been getting a lot of phone calls and stopped in businesses in regards to the water district. I mainly, a lot of people, their question is this something that we're going to be required to do? And if it's going to be a taxpayer expense? And I tell them, no.
No to both.
So, it's, because I think that the mailing just caught everyone off guard.
Mhm.
So, with really no explanation with it. So, but I'll be on I have my monthly radio program next week, so I'm going to definitely touch on that, and so that people understand, what is actually happening with that. So, and I think that's, and
Will it be before the 17th? That'd be great. Your radio show.
Yep, it will be. Let's see where we. Yeah, so it's always the second Monday, so the 13th.
Beautiful.
So, but yeah, and tomorrow night is Township
Townships.
Association meeting.
Mhm.
So, everybody going to be there? Are you or not? No.
No, I'm gonna go to that
Okay.
task force
Okay.
meeting.
But
Yeah, I'll be there.
okay, Warren, Gary, yep, and I know Chuck will not be.
Because Spaith will be there from the
Water district.
water district.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's gonna speak,
Yep.
present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's just a handful of people
So
too.
Sam, but he's not going to speak about that. But he'll be there. He'll be speaking about election.
Election.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, I know I got my sheet someplace, but yeah. So okay. Sheriff Tadman.
Not showing.
Good morning.
You and me
Morning.
both.
Yeah,
Yeah, that stuff was not fun.
I'll hand this while we start. This is the second item. Oh, great. There's two for
Oh.
each. This will be the second item. There you go. Get it to the oh, I see what I did. There you go. It was 2 pages.
You have one,
Nope.
John?
Two.
We got it.
Yeah.
We gotta figure it out.
Thank
Okay.
you.
My first would be the monthly report, and this is for month of March. Down here. Is there 2 in there? Okay. Month of March, our documented services for the month. We had a total of 87, and we had paid services were 3,655.56, and our no charge services were 1,065.32 for that. And then for our transport, we had still a good month. It's below 5,000, but we had a total of 4,814 miles for a total hours of 191. And then, as you can see, we have our mental health was up this month. We had a total of 1,074.6 in prison. Was 1154 and out of state 1298. So, and our federal continues to stay busy with 725. And then our others is just around local jails, transporting back to our facility. So on the second page, you can see the breakout for the year so far. So 4,856, 2813, and 4814 for March. So.
Question with in regards to the medical, are you seeing a decrease in that now since we have the different medical provider or not?
I don't think we've seen anything really going with that. I think it's just if they're going to be aggressive or anything like that, then we get involved. Other than that, if they're able to do it, it's the Northwest is taking cats. So Tri-County is taking those. And they do a lot of daily ones, but we have to do all federal ones.
Okay.
So other than that, we haven't seen anything that has spiked up. So no.
I was just wondering, like, with the new medical provider, like if they're able to take care of more things at the jail versus taking them to ER.
It's the same. It's
Okay.
just they're different.
Okay.
This is the way I understand it, but we haven't seen any spike with that. So
Okay.
yeah. And then our in our dispatch center, we had a total of, see how it shows up a little bit better. They made it colored so you guys could see it, but it's our total calls for the month were 2,059. Emergency 616 and non-emergency was 1,443. And then calls for service for the month of March, we had a total of 700 total with that. 730 total with that, and just going through that. Our assist agencies, 19, 2 burglaries, 2 careless driving. Our civil process keeps us busy on that part with 144. And then we had a total of 9 domestics, 6 being violent. And then DUI arrests, we had 4. And then 4 fraud cases. Motorist assist for the month was 27. And then our motor vehicle crashes, we had a total of 15 with 14 of those just being property damage, 1 injury accident crash. And what else? Public assist 13, school patrol or reckless driving cases
7, school patrol 102, sexual assaults 2, and then we had a total of 9 with the suspicious activity, persons and vehicles.
Just have a question. I think you had fraud on there for 4 cases. Are those cases of fraud committed by people in the county?
It could be outside the county or inside the county. It's
Because
reported to us.
commonly, it's probably a phone call or email requesting to pay your parking fines or.
Either that, or when we get into that, that's called a scam. When the fraud is they investigate when somebody has given some money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, or attempted to.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, with the scam things, it's hard. We put the scams in there, but it is fraud at the same time. But usually we've had some that we're giving money and then we're digging into it further. We just had one I know that was reported that's outside the county of Lake of the Woods coming into our county, that somebody ordered product, but usually you don't get product the first time. And now the second time there's been no contact, so it still gets reported as fraud.
No.
Yeah. So there's the totals, and these are in errors, so it's a total of 730 for the month of March. Questions, concerns? And then also, again, there's the February one on the back side. So with that, the second item I have is to report on is our firearms range building. We have some water damage, or lots of water damage to our building. And where our utility room is it's adjacent to the bathroom, so it's an enclosed bathroom. And as you can see, on March 21st, 26th, Sergeant Ben Stout was down there and located a water line inside the utility room that burst and was spraying water inside the utility room. The whole building was dripping with moisture. No electric that was working as a result. Is where the water line broke, the copper water line broke. It's right next to our electrical panels, and then those were all, oops, I'm down a little bit further. Those were completely wrecked.
Was that break because of freezing?
Yeah, the water line had to have froze at one time, and then with the warm weather, it started and then continued to spray until it hit that. So anyways, I got contacted, and then myself, Jesse, or Captain Haugen, met with the adjuster and was advised that we could go ahead and need repairs to get the electric. We had to try to get the heater going so we can start drying it out, so we don't have problems with any more black mold that's already there. We went down there and looked at it, and the thing had to be running for at least a week or so or more. People have been down there practicing, we've been transitioning out with our new firearms because of the water and just the black mold that's already grown in there. So Polk County Facilities met with Prue to get heating working again. They found a bad control board in the furnace, and then they used a board for the furnace to get it going so we could start drying it out. And then we had the garage door guys come down and service the garage door opener so the garage door would work again. That was completely rusted where the spring was. And then the contents inside the building were inventoried and inspected for mold in there. So some of the bids that we received so far, and gentlemen jump in, is for the cleanup, ServPro, and then Steam-O-Matic. And then our electrical, 2 quotes that we got in for that, 2 bids, and then our plumbing that would need to be done on that. We recommended using the following bids: the Steamatic for $8,108.15, Bergstrom Electric for $9,570. They got to pull all the electric panel completely off and replace the board and all the insulation behind that because of all the water. You know, the entrance to the utility room goes into the bathroom. So when the water was spraying, it was spraying on one side and then it was shooting back over to the other side. So, and then our H&M plumbing, $5,399.60. The just yesterday, Steamatic began the cleanup process. They've got to tear off the steel panels and inspect for the black mold. And then they also received a late bid. Was that Rick last night for that?
Yeah.
To replace the furnace on that, and that's $3,289. So, and then we'll have to look at getting a construction bid after the cleanup process is done, to put the insulation and metal back in place after the Steamatic cleans all the boards and removes the black mold. So anyways, that wasn't fun to find out, but at least we found it better. I think a lot of water seeped in between the two insulation on the two slabs, and then outside the door that went through there. So I think if we got it heated, but there's so much moisture in that building, so we had to open the doors and get that going. So, any
So,
questions?
Do we need a motion to approve these bids or?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
There was a claim filed
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. We got a claim going
Yeah.
too, right?
Yes.
This will all prove itself out through that process. Rick and Josh are here too because they've been out in the building now to help these guys along. And probably in the future too. Make sure we turn up the water before we can.
Well, we need the water running for training, so. I'm not gonna stop training in the wintertime for my guys. That's not gonna happen. We've really progressed to get this to where it is and to try to find out if it's the water line is because that room is so with the doors and stuff like that, it's causing not the heat to get in there and with the south wind, but I'm not gonna shut off the water. Oh, but yeah, we just did our transition in the middle of the winter and we make sure our guys are going out there and practicing because you're gonna have to use it and be able to shoot during the winter just like you would at any other call. So, we'll try to figure out a game plan and get electrical heater in that utility room and bathroom where there hasn't one in the past, and I think that was a big part of that. So, yeah.
So then the furnace bid is on top of the other bids?
The cleanup and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's destroyed. If it's soaked, I'm sure it's.
Yeah, and they're gonna look at it and everything else, but we figured we'd get the quote and do everything, but with Rick and Josh and then Jesse's on our part to make sure that, we don't want anything that has black mold if we can't get in the inside and how that's gonna get blown around with the people that are in there utilizing it. So we're just worried about that, so.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, fun end of March, so.
March
Besides
Madness.
the two Vitas mill.
Yeah, true. So,
Okay.
okay, well, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Morning.
Okay, Jake.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Jake.
How are you?
Good. Easter's good.
It was. Sun poked out for a little bit anyway after some snow.
Some
You
snow.
order it?
I did not order the snow. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Okay, I have two action items today. The first one is an out of state travel authorization for Steve Moe. He's our GIS coordinator. He is requesting to travel to San Diego, California for the Esri user conference. This is something we budget every year in the GIS budget for. Historically, our former coordinator and technician would attend this conference on an annual basis, and so Steve's looking to. He did put together, what he thinks he will, conduct business at this conference. It's 5 full days there. He does, GIS is so interactive and it just moves so quick. If you're not going to these and doing some networking, you're kind of behind the 8 ball. And so, this is just a request for him to attend that conference and learn the latest and greatest with GIS and this Esri software. Esri is really the online portal that really controls all our GIS. And so, looking for a motion to approve that authorization.
Okay, Paul?
I will second, and I was very impressed with the request to go to the conference. I'm not sure if that's, as we do, approve a lot of opportunities for employees to go, and we assume, and I'm sure they have some objectives, but it's kind of nice to see that. And I don't know if all departments do that, or you just do that, or
We just do that. We usually, some of them are just ones that are in state. We usually talk through what did we learn, what are we hoping to accomplish. Some are better than others, as you know, conferences you've attended, and so kind of pick the ones you like to go to. And on an annual basis, we have trainings we need to do for certifications and all those things. And these aren't to seek any type of continuing ed for Steve, but it really, GIS is moving so fast that the newest and latest and greatest are all at these expos and these conferences. And so, and a little side note is last year when Steve attended this, he did come back and write a similar letter, and I brought it to the board. And this year I plan to do that again and bring Steve with me, and he'll kind of talk through some things. You guys that haven't met Steve will be able to interact with Steve a little bit. So
appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate it as well. That was nice to read that.
yeah, he does a wonderful job, of
Yeah.
just informing us of what's going on.
If you ever had the privilege to meet Steve, he's very intelligent and very, very much on top of our GIS, and I have no worries. He's keeping us on the straight and narrow and the latest and greatest. So,
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
okay, my next action item is a conditional use application that we received and went over at our public hearing late in May. Or March, I'm a month ahead. For Trent Olson, parcel number 74.00872.01. And I'll just get right to the staff report here. But the applicant's requesting a conditional use permit to tie an existing accessory building to a new septic system on a backlot of Maple Lake. Again, our zoning ordinance standards, no septic system installed for use in an accessory structure without a conditional use permit. Again, that's in section 18, which is our shoreland ordinance. So this back lot is 50 by 320 in size. It's kind of a long, narrow strip along North Trinity Point Road. There is a dwelling on the front lot. So they have a cabin on the front lot. It was built in 1987. There are 2 sheds located on the back lot. One's a garage. The other's a shed that he proposes to have a bathroom located in it, and the size of that is 16 by 26. There's kind of a closet they're converting into a bathroom in that, so that's kind of how that worked out, where they're converting that shed into a hobby room. As stated on his application, he'll have no bedrooms in it. Looking for a quilting and hobby room. Septic system is proposed to have a septic holding tank. Obviously, holding tanks, you got to pump those out when they're full. They have alarms on them. It's kind of a little bit of a distance from the road. So we had him coordinate with Bayside Septic Services, their pumping service out of Mentor, and they indicated they would be able to pump the tank where the proposed location is. So trickier sites, we usually have that done. We'll get a maintenance agreement for the proposed holding tank prior to carrying forward with the conditional use. So we did get that documentation. Existing impervious is 9% a lot area, so there's no issue there. And then the applicant will be required to record the no guest house waiver before we issue the permit. go over some site pictures here. This is the application. This is that long, slender lot, as I was saying. It's 50 feet wide, actually 50 feet wide in the back. It gets to about 60, 65 in the front. The shed is actually located about right here in the middle of that parcel, right adjacent to the neighbor's Quonset there. And this is just showing you it is in our shoreland district along Maple Lake. Septic sketch we got, you know, as we were talking, we're like, well, okay, that's great, but how do we pump it? And Dusty said he can pull up right by the garage. He has enough hose where he is able to get up that slope and be able to pump it. This is that holding tank servicing contract we require with all septic holding tanks. And that's that gradient. So we pull up right here and bring out the hose. The septic tank would be right on the back side of this building.
I see that Trent claims Flagstaff, Arizona as his residence.
Snowbird. Yeah, he was unable to attend the meeting because, yeah, he was in Arizona. So,
Probably melt some snow if he came with.
yeah, he might bring some of that weather back. So with that, Planning Commission and staff recommended approval of the conditional use following conditions, that no guest house uses. So having furnished evidence of recording that with the property deed. The applicant shall provide us a septic design from a licensed septic professional for the planned septic system prior to issuance of the zoning permit. No future development on the lot that would exceed 25% impervious. Conditional use shall be acted on within 1 year. And then I'll waive from the play with our nice neighbor, be neighborly conditions. Unless Paul wants me to read them. Want a refresher?
Thank you.
All right, just
I
check.
remember them.
Okay, just check.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Gary and Paul. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Hillsborough Water.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And then the only other thing I wanted to just mention is I will be at board on the 21st with some ordinance changes. So I have, we kind of teed those up. I do need to publicly notice those in the paper, and so that's why I didn't bring them forward today. I got to do that 10 days before the board meeting, so those went out this week to get in the paper. So that's on the docket. Nothing really major. Paul, you were at the meeting on
I just think,
March
didn't
28th.
know who that guy was that was right across from me. He seems like he's well knowledge. On the end.
Was it Richard Kuzel, older gentleman?
No. Young
You were
guy.
sitting right next to Mr.
Yeah.
Schultz,
So
right?
it'd be right across from where I was.
So we had Len Vanosic, we had Richard Kuzel, and then our other members, it must have been Mr. Kuzel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed to know what he was talking about.
Because we actually weren't able to conduct business at the Board of Adjustment because we were missing a few. So all out of state.
Yeah, I came early.
I did check with the county attorney to see if Paul could jump on
He said
as the
no.
Board of Adjustment member. You know, some counties have commissioners be on the Board of Adjustment. In our ordinance, you select a person to represent you on the Board of Adjustment. I did want to talk through just possibility, and it wouldn't happen this year at all, about amending that. If we do get in a pinch like that, if we could have a commissioner serve on our Board of Adjustment. It's just something to think about. We don't need to decide today. You know, you represent that person. We kind of get them up and going, and hey, this is your role, this is your job. But we just have gotten in a pinch a few times in the last 5
There's
years.
a lot of snowbirds.
Mhm.
People like to have their own lives. I totally understand. It's not like people are jumping out the woodwork to sign up to be on these boards. So
You're kidding.
So then would, so like, okay, you know, you mentioned on the Board of Adjustments that, you know, they represent, you know, a district.
yes.
So then if, say, if my representative was not going to be there, then would it be for me?
We would contact you.
So then we would sit on there in place of whoever our
Your
okay.
representative is. If your representative was gone, we
Mhm.
can't say, no, Paul,
Mhm.
you're up.
Yeah,
You know,
okay,
it would be that district represented on the board then.
okay.
Yeah. And we'd spell that out in the ordinance.
Mhm, mhm.
The wrinkle in our ordinance right now is you can't be an elected official and be on the board of adjustment.
Yeah, and you want to remove that.
So that's the only wrinkle right
Mhm,
now.
Why
mhm.
was that put there? Do you know?
I would feel it was just to have a little separation from our board of adjustment that you're
Mhm.
delegating somebody to serve on that board. Just to
Mhm.
kind of have that where that's your rep and that's who has to attend it. You know, we do try to go through things when we have a new member. I mean, maybe if you want to talk to Wolfie about that, you know, sit down with them and go, this is really our role when we're talking about board of adjustment. And the board of adjustment is we're conducting variances and things like we can't meet the standard with this. So there's a statutory process with it. So I'd want to go through that same presentation if we do amend that with all of you. So
Mhm.
I think that would be a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
it's just when we get in a pinch or something, and it only happens this time of the year.
Mhm.
We have probably 4 to 5 meetings a year on the board of adjustment.
Mhm.
Our staff does a good job of trying to talk people into the rules and not out of the rules. Oh yeah, let's do a variance. Those are easy.
We were short 2 that day.
3.
3.
Yeah, there's 5 members, so we were short 3, and
Oh.
one I was unaware that was going to be gone, and that's the only I'd have canceled it 2 weeks prior if I knew they were going to be gone.
Mhm, mhm. Could you send me the proposed ordinance changes again? Because I
Yes.
gave my packet to Paul, so. A question about AIS funding. Has that been cut going forward?
This year we're getting our full amount.
Mhm.
I'm getting emails again that they're looking at cutting that funding in half.
Because I was at a meeting and they said that it was already cut. But, you know, I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't.
Not in 2026,
Right.
but I'm kind of seeing the writing on the wall that moving forward, that's probably on the chopping block.
Mhm.
It'll cripple our inspection program.
Oh,
I'm gonna have one inspector and I'm gonna station them on one access site. That's it.
well, it's gonna affect every single
County.
county that's,
We won't really have a program,
no,
what it's gonna be.
yeah.
We'll
that's-
get a little over $30,000 to
Mhm.
run an AIS program, and
Might all be advertising.
it might be advertising and postcards to send out to residents of our lakes areas, but that doesn't help anyone come to our county
Mhm.
launching a boat.
Mhm.
Well, the other counties, hopefully they'll do this similar thing.
You know, we have our eyelids, we can track that and work with our sheriff's office, but that's all back end stuff. That's not prevention.
It's after the fact,
It's after the fact. It's after you get something.
yeah.
Hopefully
Okay.
people take it seriously enough to do their own cleaning. I mean, a lot of these people do this, but you get some of those, all it takes is 1 or 2 reckless folks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
most people are very responsible and respectful of our inspectors. You know, 99% of them are very good. They'll
Yeah.
just walk through the inspection with our inspector, and they know it takes less time to just do it and be done with it.
Mhm. But it's not just like the boats and the jet skis. I mean, it's all the toys that you pull behind and it's the docks.
Kayaks, canoes.
Mhm. Yep.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of sometimes too, that people just get very, narrow that it's just boats, but it's not. It's anything
It's all
that goes in the water.
It's bait buckets. It's everything.
Yeah.
The wake
Okay.
boats and the ballasts and things in those are a problem. They suck in water and they don't dry. They
Mhm.
can't. They're
Right.
bags that expand and contract with how much water they have in them.
Mhm.
They just
Yeah.
don't dry out. So,
Okay.
I mean, and I shouldn't say we won't have a program. We will have a program. We have the CD3, we have our eyelids
Mhm.
cameras, we have those that prompt, do the right thing. They have a audible prompt when you go to the access, but that's not like an inspector sitting there reminding you, got anything in your bilge pump? You got anything in the live well? Be different.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll write those letters. Should get on board with it's kind of groups that are sending me emails that say, just tell us how this would affect your program.
Mhm.
Sent one last year, I'll send them again.
Okay.
Theme is it'll cripple our inspection program.
Yep, yeah. Well, if there's anything that you think that I need to see or something, just forward it to me too, so.
Yeah, I can forward you those emails too.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you all.
Do you know, is Rich on his way, or should we just take a
Sure.
break? Okay, we'll take a little break here. Okay, oh. Okay,
Well, you have to approve them first, but that's
well,
okay.
yeah.
Not really. Go ahead.
Okay,
Are you ready?
yes, we are
Floor,
ready.
floor scrubber. So we've had a floor scrubber for about 10 years and it's coming to the end of its life. So we need to replace a floor scrubber and it's part of the budget. And so we went back to Cole. They give us a quote for a new floor scrubber, same model, a little bit more fancy. And it costs $16,330.94. So I need approval to purchase a floor scrubber from Cole.
Are these similar? I think there was a photo that you see in Hugo's.
It's a walk behind.
This is a walk-in one.
Yeah, it's
Does
not
it
a
go by
ride
itself?
behind one. Yeah,
Okay.
It looks like the one that'll pick up small gravel.
Yeah.
It has a little gravel catch basin in it, or
yeah. I mean,
I was just
where's
looking
the,
at
where's the picture?
picture here.
There's
Yep.
the picture
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So we use it because where vehicle storage is, all the sand and salt
It'll
that
pick
comes
up the
off.
sand.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
and then we use it for the shop floors for oil and everything else that gets dropped on there and needs to be cleaned. So, correct.
Okay.
So move.
Okay,
Second.
Russ and Gary. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, we're in the process of advertising for CASA 40, and we have one landowner that is unwilling to negotiate with us for the right of way and temporary easement we need for stockpiling the black dirt. And so the only option we have is the option of eminent domain. And so you have a resolution in front of you, 2026-16, basically starting the process. Doesn't mean we have to go all the way through the process, but it means that we're at least starting the process, and then hopefully things will move quicker. So I need approval to sign or approve resolution 2026-16.
So just because you start the process, or we start the process of eminent domain, doesn't mean
It goes through.
okay.
What my hope is you do this. She sees that we're serious about this and sits down at the table and starts having further discussion. Because right now she's not even willing to discuss.
And
Our Travis calls her, nope, don't even want to sit with you, don't want to look at anything, blah blah blah, and so we're stuck.
I emailed Rich just because I had questions of what was, and they documented correspondence, leaving voicemails. I mean, there's,
Mhm.
I think I counted over. Is it over 10?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot within a month and a half, 6 weeks.
you know.
Where is this process? Where's property?
Between
So,
Winger
so
and
it's
Circle.
it's west of Winger, south of County Road 1. So our CASA 40 goes south there to the county line.
Okay,
And so her property is the first property off of 1 west, on the west side of 40.
okay.
So,
Mhm.
And it just sounds like she has chosen to just not want to
Right.
talk at all. And I mean,
Yep.
just
Eminent domain, would that mean we would be purchasing the property or just getting the right to?
it would go through the courts. The courts would set the price
Purchase price.
and we would deposit that money at the courts and they would finish it out. And then she would get her money, we get the property. It's an easement, it's not fee title.
Okay,
Mhm.
So
It's no
same
different.
price as fee title, but all we do is purchase an easement.
Just purchasing the easement.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, it's no different than any other, what we do with other road
Yep.
projects.
Yep.
So, need a motion then to, start this process.
I'll move.
Warren?
Are you begging?
Oh, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, second by Gary. Any more discussion?
I don't. I mean, me personally, I don't care for the process, but it's.
Yep.
I just. It's too bad.
It's too bad. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
yeah, it,
I've been here for 35 years, and we've only gone through the process once from beginning to end, and that was along County Road 211 north of Fertile, going over to between 102 and 32, and it was because the landowner had passed away and everything was in probate.
Oh, sure.
mhm.
And so there was no way to negotiate at that point either. So we went through the process, deposited the money, and then when their process was done, the money got spread out amongst all the kids or whatever.
We don't even know what the
So it doesn't happen very frequently. I would say it probably will start happening more frequently but that's just the way it is. So
And I mean, in the correspondence notes, I mean, she does express a concern here and there, but refuses to sit down and talk about it. That's
Right.
what, if you have concerns,
Mhm.
let's.
she doesn't give those concerns.
she does. I don't think she understands. She doesn't even understand what we're trying to do. So she thinks that we're going to destroy her property by buying a strip of land 25 feet wide and flattening the inslopes of the road and creating ditches for water to drain and help with her field drainage. But
It's the exact
she-
same thing you did on 12.
exactly, except 12 is paved in the middle and 40 is going to be gravel. So it's just, yes.
Maybe since we're about to go into a legal process, we might just have that be what happens and then.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
okay, Yep. okay, so all those in favor say aye,
Aye.
opposed, carried. Okay,
So yeah, Greg is ready to rock and roll. He's been emailing back and forth. He has all the documentation, so he will start the process, and we'll see how far it goes. You have an abstract in front of you, CASA 22's bid letting. We opened bids on Friday, or actually on Thursday at 10 a.m. For the mill and overlay of CASA 22 from Trunk Highway 220 north and west up to the county line. Lowest responsible bidder is Agassiz Asphalt LLC out of New Folden or Thief River Falls, whichever one I think it's New Folden, at a total cost of $2,146,618.50. Slightly over estimate, about 100,000. Not surprising, based on which part of the county it's in and what's been going on for about the last 3 weeks with oil prices and everything else, diesel prices. So I don't think we're going to get any better bids if we waited. So we're recommending awarding the contract to Agassiz Asphalt. It's a federal project. We're receiving a little over $1.5 million in federal funds for it. And because we don't have any disadvantaged business or gender neutral stuff in the contract, we can award it right away. So we're awarding.
okay.
So, then is there a portion in this bid then that if in the event that fuel prices go up, they adjust that?
The fuel escalation clause, yes.
Okay. Just wondering.
So it would all be based on the day of the bid. So diesel prices, so it goes either or.
That's right.
So-
Will it go up or down?
Or down.
Yep.
So if by chance diesel, the index on fuel goes down by 25% or more than 25%, then we would have the ability to adjust as well.
Sure.
But if it goes up by 25%, then they have the ability to request an adjustment as well.
That's what
So,
I'm asking.
So they're milling an inch and a half off.
we're milling 2 and putting 3 back on.
So I was asked to
Yep.
ask you
Yep.
about the agreement between North Dakota, Minnesota and the road heights in that area. There's a big flood
Well, there's
thing going on.
yeah, and we're nowhere close to the dike level along the river
Okay.
on the North Dakota side, so that inch isn't going to matter.
Okay. No, I was just
And-
asked to ask.
And we also have there's 2 areas along the north-south stretch of 20 feet of water. We actually have overflows
Yep.
where we paved the shoulder where we know it's going to go over the water.
Yep.
So
No, I know they were just concerned with because in the past there's been a lot of
and
fights about it.
Yeah,
out
and
there.
I'm on a committee that's looking at the Red River and the flooding and the whole thing. Yeah, it's just yes.
And then the other, I know I had corresponded with Rich about it in email is and I probably worded terribly saying, is this another patch job or are we fixing it right? And it's like you said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So moving forward, is there opportunity to start the process to fix it? Because I know the last time that that highway was done 2011-ish, 10-ish, 11, 12-ish. I think some neighbors had called me, some people had called me about it and said that lasted maybe 3 to 5 years. And I said,
Well,
okay. So anyways, what I was asking is, yes, let's mill and overlay, but what's the process to get going for the future so the next time this comes around?
What so so there's 2 issues. You have soil cement under full depth bituminous. So soil cement was when it was graded way back in the 70s, early 80s. They took cement and they mixed it in with the clay to make the subgrade hard. Does a really good job of making the subgrade hard, but what ends up the issue is now it's like a concrete road. So you have a crack every 40 feet, 27 feet, whatever it is. And they put full depth bituminous over the top of it. So there is no squish layer or aggregate base in between. And so you have 10 inches of bituminous over the soil cement, and it acts all as one unit. And so you end up with the cracking. The only way to fix it is to remove all the bituminous, get rid of all the soil cement, bring in aggregate base or geotextile aggregate base, reconstruct the whole road. Like I told you in the email, it would be well over 20 million to do it, which is well over 5 years worth of our allocation from the state just for one project. More than likely never going to happen. Even you would have to do it in like 3-mile chunks, which doesn't make it efficient, and you'd be spending money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't see it happening in the next 5 years. I don't see it happening in the next 10 years. We'll do this mill and overlay. The mill and overlay will last 15 to 20 years. And then at that point, if the new engineer wants to try and take that on, then he would take that on in chunks and you would totally reconstruct that road. But you would have to really plan for it.
And then the culverts were another thing that I think I
Yeah,
brought up to you as well.
And I had my maintenance superintendent drove the road and my assistant drove the road. The 2 culverts that I was thinking was the issue isn't the issue. It's the north-south culverts that are more the issue, and they're so shallow that you're going to end up with those bumps no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You could replace those culverts with new culverts. You're still going to end up, because the frost, they're so shallow that the frost affects the culverts and the road, and you end up with just differential movements.
What was brought up to me was where they've patched, where they've patched in the past, and they said they've patched multiple times in that place.
Yeah. And there's ways to fix that. It's just when do you spend that money to do that fix? So. Yep,
No, it's just concerns that were brought to me
right.
the patches in the road from the culverts.
And
The theory is that the concrete culverts are actually separating a little bit, and then there's soil
correct. Yep.
collapsing,
And they would have dug down and fixed that separation by putting fabric over it and then repacking it, whatever. And it's typical with our older roadways and the older concrete culverts where now all the concrete culverts are tied. Every joint is tied. Back then, the last 5 sections of the culvert was tied, but the inside parts of it weren't. So you get a little bit of separation, and that's what happens. And so at some point, we'll either line the culvert, like I said,
Mhm.
we can spend 80 grand, line the culverts that have the issues, or we can dig them all up and put all new culverts back in, and you'll end up with a patch 5 years down the road or whatever. But at least the culverts will be fixed. We just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay, so need a motion for the bid.
With AZ. Asphalt.
Where was the?
So moved.
Gary,
I will second.
Ross. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed? Carried.
So we have dumpsters at Maple Lake Campground, East Shore, on Maple Lake, and then also Cross Lake Tilburg Park, north and east of Foston, and which is our campground north and east of Foston. And so we sent out quotes. The only quote we got back was from Alternative Sanitation LLC, because I think they're
They're
basic.
interesting.
Yep. And so you have the costs for each campground with a 6 cubic yard dumpster. And so you have 3 motions, one for each location to approve their quote.
These prices are for one-time pickup.
Once a month.
Once a month. Yep.
Okay.
If so, like at 4th of July, if they fill up really quick, then we'll have them come out and do it. So you end up paying it twice for that month, but
Mhm.
it's typically once a month.
So they're all the same. All 3 are the same size dumpster.
Yep.
Why is one so much more expensive than the other?
Well, more garbage
to go.
and further away. So
Distance.
yep.
So the first one is for Maple Lake Park. I'll move.
No, the first one is Cross Lake.
Cross Lake.
Yep, at $221.13 a month. Okay, so I got Paul,
I'll second.
seconded by Ross. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Next one is for Maple Lake Park.
I will move.
I'll second.
Okay, Paul and Ross. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, now the
East
East
Shore.
Shore.
I will move.
I'll second.
Okay, Paul and Ross again. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, next you have the public land survey grant that you approved in the past. Mr. Barovich and Widseth has finished the project for Columbia Township, so all the corners in Columbia Township have been set. The original request was 300,000. The state had given us 200,000, 250. The approved project cost was 273,920. The final project cost is $297,809.05. So you have attached the justification for overrun letter from Mr. Barovich to the state. You also have attached the letter from Widseth to other land surveyors that helped collaborate with the project. So as you can see, it wasn't just Widseth out there setting each corner. He actually had discussions with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, DNR, other land surveyors that do work in the area. And so they came up with MnDOT. They came up with a set place for the corners based on historical data and all their land survey education. You also have attached an email from MnDOT to Mr. Barovich discussing the 16th corner at CASA 4 and how they realized that they were not correct with where they had placed their 16th corner, and that the county and Widseth was more correct. And so that basically finalizes the issue with the CASA 4 landowners, because it is where we said it was. And then you have attached the final corner map location showing all the corners and their coordinates. And so with all this information, any questions about, or do you want them, I don't know how you want to do this, but any questions about the project and the outcomes?
Does this solve some other problems out there?
Well, like I said, it solves the CASA 4 issue. So for us, there's still some work that could be done in the future as far as the city of Langby goes, but that would be between the city of Langby, Polk County, and Widseth at that point. But yes,
But it sounds like it sets in place some pretty reliable
Mhm,
correct.
information.
Yep.
mhm.
I will add, I did inform the mayor of Lambie about this on the agenda. The project is wrapped up, and he was informing the other folks that came to the past meeting. And I did not hear, so I think the meetings that took place over there at Lambie, I don't want to say it solved their issues, but it may have clarified what they need to do to address their issues. But the monuments now are
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this map here shows all the corners and all their coordinates. So now anybody doing work in Columbia Township, any land surveyor will have well, you look at it, it's 8 corners around every section for them to tie into for as far as property surveys and everything. So it's going to make it more efficient
Mhm.
for anybody in doing work in Columbia Township. And I think it was a really good process. I think, if you look at what we got here and what we have as far as corners countywide, it will definitely benefit the residents. And, hopefully in the future, we'll have the ability to apply for another grant to do another township. More than likely, the next one would be Queen, which would be just north.
Yep.
And get the ones along the eastern part of the county done, because they're the ones that are more difficult with swamps, hills, curves, whereas the ones out west are more straightforward.
Yeah.
So
They're gonna be able to, if they need to, then get their own surveyors to help them with their properties based on these
Mhm.
monuments.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think one of their bigger problems was finding a surveyor that would come into the mess before this was established. I'm hoping this figure sets that precedent so that these are official monuments and other surveyors can come in and do their work if they choose.
Correct. Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
what the goal is.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, their thinking always was the county was wrong. We put the 16th line is down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Their property as shown on the GIS is incorrect, therefore it's our mistake. We need to fix it. Well, now it's shown that the center of the road isn't the 16th line. Their property is described and shown mostly correctly. And if they want to fix it, they have the ability to hire a land surveyor, do property descriptions on how they want to swap land and do their fixing. But it's not something that the county is liable for.
And there were monuments before that.
Yeah.
Where surveyors could have used.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's what they said they could have used, but their
Mhm.
big complaint when they would talk to me is nobody will come in because of the dispute. Well, now this is filed with the state, correct?
correct.
And
Yep.
these are the monuments that they gotta go by.
It's recorded here as well.
And it's recorded here.
Yep.
So now they have these monuments to work with. Now they can do some of their jockeying and adjusting their lines if they need to.
Correct.
And hopefully they can do that with minimal expense.
Yep. So you need approval, I need approval, I have to go back up to my,
Mhm.
sorry about this. Should almost put one at each end of something this long, so that I don't have to.
You're close.
I'm getting there.
Approval for the.
Yeah, so I need a motion to approve the final amount of Columbia Township monumentation project and allow Polk County to make final payment to Widseth.
Okay, so that's then the
To-
overrun is the 22,889.05, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so looking for a motion so we can make the final payment.
So move.
Ross?
Second, get the two far western commissioners.
Okay, so we have motion by Ross, seconded by Warren. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And hopefully we don't have any more snow events like we had on Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't home, but
You hadn't put your equipment away, had you?
No, by no means is the equipment away. Like Mr. Reese, one of his residents had an issue because they live on a gravel road. And so with the warm temperatures prior to the snow, the gravel roads are getting soft. That's why spring load restrictions are on. And they're unable to plow 16 inches of snow on a gravel road because the machine will sink into the gravel. Then you're throwing all the gravel into the ditch because you can't. Yeah. So we didn't plow on Saturday or Sunday, the gravels, because it got cold overnight on Easter night, Monday
Yes,
morning.
that was great.
Yeah,
Helped a
it
lot.
helped a lot. Then they were able to get out there and drive on the gravel and plow the road. So they plowed all the gravels yesterday morning. And so that's where we're at. So it's just one of those things. Late season snow is never fun. So well, at least the pavements got dry right away.
Right away.
I'll go get Stacy. You should go ahead.
okay, yep, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Rich.
Oh, I need those contracts.
Oh, is there more than,
There's there's three.
oh, shoot, I
You're
just
okay.
signed the top
I can
one.
wait.
Was everybody got their valuation notices?
Mm-hmm.
Mine went up about 14,000.
I got to chat with my county commissioner about that.
Mine went down.
I'm gonna talk to my county commissioner because his went down.
Mm. Well, I invited the
Not much, but some.
assessor girl into my house when she came back.
See you
Around
all
for-
tomorrow
Yeah.
night at the township.
Township,
meeting.
yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
What time is the township thing at? I feel like that's like
5:45 or something like that.
Well,
Dinner's at 5 or 5:30 or something.
5:30, I
Did you
think,
file
is
for,
that-
did you request a walleye or the other?
yeah.
Oh, you did.
They sent that to me, but then when this task force thing started, I'd really like to go to the township thing, but I feel like
Yep.
Yeah, so
Middle of
registration is 5:30, meal is 6, and then, yeah, the meeting's at 7. Hmm.
it was
What
kind
should
of
I
a-
talk
it was-
about?
It was a handshake of toss up of what I
You're
should.
going to the right place.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Well, that
No.
sounds good though.
Ditches and water.
No.
Just give you a couple of,
Mhm.
that's what these township people wanna know.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you can mention the redetermination.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be a lengthy meeting.
Yeah, with.
And of course, you'll go on forever with your.
God, you'll just.
Oh, yeah, right.
Mhm. Should we time you?
Go ahead.
You want me to stand up when they're getting into 15, 20 minutes?
I won't be there that long.
just clap a lot.
Oh.
There you go.
Then stand up and clap when she's done.
Thumbs up.
Oh, that was your last point, Joe. Thanks.
In conclusion,
When I'm done, stand up and clap. Maybe she'll quit.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Pretend like I'm going to the bathroom. If I stand up, Joe, you'll know it's a joke.
Yeah. So they
She's coming down.
don't have the new representative listed on here as a speaker. The one from Ada that took over Mel's spot. Because normally they're listed as speakers.
Well, I mean, Mel is gone?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember,
Oh, oh,
Yeah, that was
Remember
a
last
heated
fall?
discussion.
that's worth a clap.
but not the way what it happened though.
We are,
Oh. Okay. So we're waiting for Stacy to get here.
That'll take about 15 minutes off the program.
Mm.
show you.
Mm. Mm. Oh, I forgot to mention in my forum that I had another MAFBA meeting yesterday.
Do you want me to give them a
We
handout
had an
copy so they can look at it, or
AT
just keep it on
meeting
the
too, but that was on Thursday and it was called out. So we did everything online.
Yeah, no, I did it at
Don't
my
be rushed,
daughter's
Stacy.
before I.
You mean you're not in a hurry to leave?
Well, I'm always excited to leave, but
We're rushing you. You take your time.
right.
Oh, good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And to the side.
Thank you.
This is just what's on the board. It's really tiny.
Mm.
Still really tiny. I've got to
Yeah.
put my glasses
You
on.
got two there, Warren?
Orange chip. Did I not give?
Yeah, you do. You want one?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Be this way. Do that way.
Separate them out. now.
This one you've had before. It would be new for Ross, but it's one we've talked about before.
Okay.
Okay. Trying to be focused here. Okay. So, good morning.
Good
Morning.
Morning. Okay, so we've got, Chuck asked if I would just kind of come and give some updates on some things. It's been a while since I've come to visit. So where we're at with payroll, we wanted to talk about our payroll implementation. We are finally there. It is running. And so I would say we're at like the 99%, where it's, for the most part, what we're seeing now are just minor tweaks in the system. And so if you can kind of imagine, the reason I'm bringing this report is if you can kind of imagine we had to roadmap all the different parts of the payroll system. So it's like building a bridge. There's data in the timekeeping system, and each, I don't know, call it a Lego. Each piece is a field, and that field has data. And then we have to build the picture of where all of those data goes, and it's kind of doing like an if and an and an or and a but. And then there's a bridge. Okay, and then we get to the bridge, and the bridge says I need to go to payroll. Now, when I go to payroll, I need to do all of these things. So it takes all those Legos, those pieces, and go, okay, this is regular pay, it goes here. This is overtime pay, it goes here. If you see night shift, I need to do this. And then it comes over to the pay statement, and then it maps itself on the pay statement that tells the employee, I have overtime, I have night shift, I have comp leave, I have vacation leave, I have sick leave. The system we had before really just had regular pay, I think straight time pay, and overtime. So now we have regular, we have night shift, we have day shift, we have holiday pay, we have holiday work pay, we have comp leave, we have sick leave, we have vacation leave. We have, and we're required to, under Minnesota State Department of Labor, we are required to provide employees with a pay statement that provides them with their wages and the detail and the hours. So we've gone from just a few little codes to a lot, which is good. Now, it becomes more technical. So now that pay statement, and I have another update that we need to get out to the employees so that the employees can read their pay statement, because when all those things come over to the pay statement, it comes across as 3 codes, 3 little letters. So now it's like, well, what is COM? What is VAC? What is REG? What is SDN? And so we need to give them now kind of a map to say, okay, when you see this on your timesheet or on your pay statement, what it is so that they can read it. Now, the report that you have in front of you here, where I get excited, is that this is basically a check register from our last payroll. This check register is a live check register in that any of those fields you see on that form there, so let's take 457B MSRS. I can click that and I can see every person that makes up that 2,382.34. And then I can export it and I can dump it and I can get it into fields, and now I can analyze. So when we start talking about, and these are deductions on the first screen, but these are all the different pieces and parts of the system that we've had to map. Now that they're there, I can now see who's contributing to them, where they're at, what payroll, and I can get the data out and I can put it into spreadsheets that we can track the information and compare, did we pay on the medical bills? We have taken the employer share and the employee share. These are all the bills we've paid. Do they balance? And that is something that we've not had. Okay. And now we're going to balance the payroll and the liabilities in the system. And that is, and we're not there yet, but we're building to that. Now they would compare to the bills and they would do some of those pieces, but now we're really talking about the liabilities, like all of the money we're taking out and putting in and where is it going. And the fact that I can drill into any one of those is huge. And not only that, like for overtime, when we start talking about budgeting and where we're going, I can drill into overtime for any payroll for the whole year and see how many hours, who it was paid for, what rate it was. And now I can start projecting future years. And I can start seeing, if we start looking, really wanting to get into the nuts and bolts of, well, how much is this group costing us? What does this cost us? What if we change this? Now we have the ability to work with collective bargaining agreements when we go to negotiations. I can give him good data, and I don't have to manually calculate it. I can pull it out of the system and go, give me what it is. But it's really, it's like, I don't know how to say it, but it's exciting. Let's just put it that way. It's that I don't have to take a report, because that's all I could get out of the other system was a report. And then I couldn't work with the report. I couldn't get it into Excel. I couldn't manipulate it. It was just a paper report. That doesn't help me if I have to hand key it. The takeaway is this system is complex. It's technical, and we have to have the ability to manage it and keep it running. And when I mean technical, from a software standpoint, there's a lot in the background that has to be maintained to keep it going. Once we're there, and we're getting there, it's just training. It's very it will be much easier to change. And so like if we add a code or if we add different pieces, typically we're running about 350 pay statements, 350 employees of payroll. So there's a lot of data. This isn't just 20, 30, 100 people. This is a lot of people.
How many people did you say?
There were 351 this payroll, 350 to 351 employees each time that we've been running it. But it gives us the ability to now see what's going on. So that is some of the other things that we're finding is we're seeing how the data's flowing, where we've got pieces that we need to have conversations about and understand better. Consistency. Has it been smooth and seamless? Not as much as we would like, but this is part of what that bridge is really what wasn't there. So once we got the bridge going, now we've got payroll going. And it's ideally fast. Once all of those pieces, we've gone from someone who has manually keyed in 350 people's time, regular time, overtime, straight time, vacation. I mean, 350 people, every payroll. Can you imagine keying that in manually to a system? To it is online, it is flowing, and it's a matter of pressing buttons. And now we're just reconciling and making sure it's there. And going from there. So the other part on top of it is the payroll is one piece, but there's also then all the general ledger, which is our account code and where all of these tie to. For example, the last payroll, it's about 600 account codes that come out of all of this in the background that come over into our finance system then, because we have to account for, is it social services? Is it public health? Where do all the earnings go? Where do all the taxes go? Where do all the benefits go? So there's a whole nother section here that had to be built as well of data behind here that ties all of that now to pulling it into finance. Now, again, that's the exciting part is I can pull out a code for social services or public health, and I can see who's been paid out of all of those codes. And again, I can dump it and drill into it and map it and make tables without having to rekey it. So it's significant. And it'll keep growing because now it's learning the system and getting better at it, but then now it's all of the features that we aren't taking advantage of, and what more can we do with it now? It's working with HR again on our learning because we basically have come into the HR system, and we're all having to kind of learn to work of this is my part, this is mine, some meld. But now what more can the two departments together do to optimize to make sure that system's running even better and make a better experience for the employee? So we've got a lot of work to do, but this is a significant change for how the county operates payroll. It's huge. We're getting better every day. It's like we learn something either by trial and error or mistake. We go, oh, we're not going to do that again. But no, it's good. And so that is that. Are there any questions on any of it or where we're going? This is just kind of to give you an idea of when I talk payroll, what really we're looking at. And these are all of the deductions, pays, everything that goes into it. So
I think it's impressive.
it's huge, yeah.
And I still, and I appreciate that you're still so happy.
Well, we were getting we're there now. Yeah, now that we've reached that hump, but it's been a long road because we've got our stress of knowing that the system is not where we want it and trying to every 2 weeks it comes around whether we want it to or not, and go, okay, we know this is going to be really painful, but we're gonna, for lack of a better word, suck it up, and we're gonna do it, and we're gonna get it done. And we know we're gonna have some challenges, but we're just gonna keep going. And we understand it's impacted employees, and that is also stressful, knowing that it's just not been that good of an experience. But for the most, she's running. It's there. We are there. Yeah. Even this time, we're like a day and a half ahead of where we have been on getting payroll done.
You said 350 employees that includes not only obviously the
Commissioners, board,
commissioners,
yeah,
boards, part-time, seasonal,
yeah.
everybody that gets a
Paycheck, some kind of pay. Yep. So it's good. So that's payroll. Any questions?
Where are we for full-time positions, 12 months? Any idea?
I want to say the majority are full-time, so there are very few right now. I think I only am aware of 2, maybe 4 staff that are not full-time outside of seasonal rec hires.
Right.
So 345 probably full-time, 1.0, 8 hours a day, 260 days a year, at least, I believe. Yeah, well,
And
take
some
that
are
back. No,
the,
let me take that back, because there's commissioners, you guys are in there, there's 7 of you, 330, call it.
okay.
7 of us?
Or 5 of you, sorry, 7.
Paul and I counted.
And the
too.
election.
7.
2 each.
And yeah, and then there's the, the county extension board, social services board, yeah. So when we start backing out some of those, yeah, it's seasonal. I'm just thinking right now on the,
You're forgiven. You have a lot on your mind.
yeah, we're getting there.
We tend to go by who's on insurance for our
Yeah. Mhm, mhm,
Sure.
full-time employees. Actually, anybody over 50 hours
mhm, mhm,
is counts health insurance.
mhm. Yep.
But you guys have the option,
Mhm,
so it's, again, it always has to be sorted out.
Mhm.
yeah. So it's good. And then the next venture. So now that we're at the payroll juncture, I am trying to get back on task with things that we've had to kind of set aside. So a few of those things, as we're looking forward now, we've got coming up, our budgets are just around the corner again for 27. Budget prep will start in June, as well as audit prep. We've kind of set that to the side a little bit. And then we've got some of the key policies we wanted to get going, our capital and fund balance. So we are looking to, I think by the next board meeting, we will bring a fund balance policy and a capital improvement or a capital asset policy. One of the things we're going to we're going to start working on as well is what we call a capital improvement plan, CIP plan. And that we're going to target a 5-year plan. And that really is a formal written plan that tells us how we are going to finance, budget, and plan for all of our major capital improvements. Infrastructure, facilities, technology, what are our goals as a county, and then how are we going to fund it. And then it's an annual plan that's updated, but it ties to the current year budget so that we can see, for example, Levi's department's going to replace computers. What is that plan? How are we paying for it? What's the cost just on that? And then there's the road and bridges and there's facilities. And so it is a fluid plan that is updated annually, but it is also kind of the priorities of the county. I think I've just talked about like a public works building, different things. How are we going to plan out and fund all of that? The other part of it will be coming back and we're we will recommend and ask approval to create a capital fund, which is another fund that we put all of the funding in, basically, for lack of a better word, is like, again, we're going to make a plan and then how are we going to pay for everything? And then we use that capital fund to flow all the inflows and outflows and all the project tracking with it, which is a new, so Public Works probably the best department to use in terms of their planning their projects and they've got this is bringing everybody's department back in and having one plan for the county that pulls all of the different departments, the resources and everything together and looking at it as a whole picture, and then making sure we're tracking it because again we have to depreciate. So the capital asset policy basically says if it's $10,000 or over, we're going to depreciate it. We're going to put it in an asset inventory, and then it tells me how many years are we going to depreciate it over. So it's kind of the roadmap and the policy that we need to track all those things. And when we define that, we're defining what capital is and what capital isn't. So capital is usually anything lasts longer than 1 year and is over $10,000 per se. So then anything we purchase that falls into that goes onto the capital asset, fixed asset inventory tracking for depreciation. But then is that an item we are going to put into the capital plan and project out? So if we decide we're going to build a new building in 3 years, how are we going to fund that building, and then we put it out there and we're tracking. What are we doing to raise the money? Are we setting the money aside? Are we paying it as we go? Are we bonding for it? And then all of the different components. So it's it's a big process. So we're going to start that very soon. We're going to use Questica. It's our budgeting software system. There is a capital plan in there that we did not get to last year, and we will use that. Our current software doesn't allow for project tracking, so I'm hoping as we look at the new ERPs that they will have the ability to put a project number to it so we can tie all the expenses and revenues in our financial software system to the budget tracking in the capital plan in the actual system. So it's kind of a tie. So those are hopefuls and goals, but we'll bring those back to you next month. Fund balance policy. So this is just kind of a recap. Again, I had hoped to have this to you sooner. This is maybe more for Ross's information, something that we kind of talked about before. The first sheet up is just really out of our 2024 fund balance report. It's from our audit. We are required to have a fund balance policy. There are different types of fund balances. There are non-spendable, which is basically inventory, which is material items that we can't spend. And then there, like gas, for example. How much fuel do we have in the fuel tanks at the end of the year? And then there's restricted. Restricted is restricted by legislation. It just basically means that if we take in certain funds, if there's legislation that mandates that they are restricted, we have to put them into what we call a restricted fund. And then we have what is really considered unrestricted. Part of unrestricted is committed, assigned, and unassigned. When we talk about a fund balance policy, we are required as a government entity to have a fund balance policy on our unrestricted funds. Unrestricted is our unassigned, our assigned, and our committed. In order to commit something, we need to have a policy that says I can commit. It can be at your level, it can be at my level, or Chuck's. That we just have the ability to say I'm going to commit these funds that we're taking in to this purpose, and then it can only be used solely for the purpose. But it allows us the ability to say, oh, you know what? There's funds left. We can do something else with them. But you're committing them for the purpose, accepting it. Assigned is just a very soft. We're assigning it to this fund. And it's just really, it's still unrestricted, but it's just tracking it at a higher level of saying, I'm going to follow what this is. And then unassigned is just can be used for anything. And then there is in that policy, there will be an order. Do we use restricted first? Or we use it unassigned first? What's the priority of order that we use it? Mm-hmm. The key piece with the unassigned when we are budgeting, fund balance is used and calculated only once, and it's calculated at the end of the year. Fund balance isn't a flowing number. It is calculated at the end of the year because it's the net of all of our assets and our liabilities, and there are several adjustments that happen to it. So it's not just revenue over expense and carryover. It is really all the different adjustments that go into fund balance. So we really only use fund balance. We only calculate it at the end of the year, and that is the only time it is determined. We then will have a fund balance policy for unassigned or unrestricted that says, do we need to have 3.5 months, 5 months, 4 months? How much fund balance do we have to have at the end of the year? And then when we do our budgets, we need to project out that fund balance for the next year to know, are we going to drop below that fund balance policy? And if so, what actions are we going to take? It's not cash. So cash is like think of your checking account where your cash could change every day. You could have checks you've just written that haven't cashed. So it's not cash. Fund balance is the net of all of the assets, the liabilities, and the revenues, and all the adjustments for non-spendable inventory. It's what you have. But we're required to keep 3 to 5 months as recommended to make sure that we can get through the year when we have those lows. Like right now, we're coming to a low because we haven't started collecting taxes. So now we need to be able to, so that the reason for the fund balances is to make sure that we don't go into the red and run ourselves out of cash, but it's not a cash balance. We only do it once a year. The number is calculated once a year. And then we need to understand when we're doing our budgets, when we come back in the fall, we pull in all of our revenues and expenses, and then we decide, are we overspending, spending into the fund balance, or are we adding to fund balance? So that's back to the capital plan. It's really important to go, okay, we want to put 1% of our unrestricted fund balance in towards capital. And that's part of that plan. Okay, now are we going to start setting money aside for capital? Okay, now I said we're going to take up 1% of our unassigned fund balance, we're going to put it into capital. We put it into capital, and it's no longer in unassigned because it can't be spent. It's committed to capital. I don't know if that makes sense, but again, it's really understanding what we're having. So if we have a $12 million operating expenditure budget, 5 months it would be $1 million each month. So 5 months is we would have to stay at the 5 million unassigned fund balance target. So it's that target of how do we control our spending? What's our target when we push everything out? So if we want to buy something that isn't in the budget, when we use our fund balance, that's when we get the fund balance out. Because we take the fund balance and we go, okay, well, that's not budgeted. Now I'm going to have to draw into the fund balance. Am I going to go under fund balance? Am I going to stay above it? It helps drive those decisions. Similar with capital. And it's not cash, but it's once a year. It's not calculated just it's a one-time calc. And then we always use the audited fund balance because that is the true fund balance on record. When we did 26 budgets, we weren't at a point yet where we could really do that. So this year, when we start doing budgets, we will get that fund balance in there and we will start looking at that. I'm really hopeful we get an ERP system that can help me track that, because right now that is a limitation of what I've got right now. Is it is very manual and it's very forced. So it's not just something that I can easily calculate. And that is a struggle for me because I'm used to being able to tie codes to certain fund balances. So I know instantly what codes go to which one, and I don't have that right now. So that is a limitation and a piece that I need to work on. And that makes it hard to project out those fund balances.
What do you need to, you have to have a program that does that?
It helps because if you can imagine, we probably have, I don't know, 20,000, how many different account codes? Like everything we do has an account code. And it's where does that tie to? So there's expense and revenue, but in the background, where does it hit?
And we don't have that program yet.
The program we currently have does not automatically tie the expense and the revenue automatically to certain fund balances. No.
We need to get that then.
I'm hoping, yes, in the next couple weeks we will have
Access.
yeah, well, we're gonna have we're doing that ERP system quote the review. So that is one of the questions for those systems. I'm sorry, my brain just went. To see if that is a capability that they have, because that is how I was used to operating previously, was that everything tied to the fund balance. So it helped when I needed to do budgeting and projections. I could pull a certain code tied to a certain fund balance and I would know where it would go.
Well, my point here is
Mhm.
you shouldn't be struggling trying to find that.
Mhm.
If we need to get that for you, then we need to get that.
And that's what we're looking at this
We
month.
don't know if we have it available or not.
Yeah.
It's been about a dozen year effort.
Yeah, a dozen year effort. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there different softwares and it just, you gotta kind of, which one fits for you or?
Yeah, and so we're looking at 2 here in the next month. And so that goes back to that ERP system, kind of like with the payroll, where all of a sudden now we can drill in and I can track and I can see it. I cannot do that with the current system we have. I literally have to print a report. I mean, some of the reports I can dump to Excel, but I cannot continually drill in. That is
Just
key.
for Commissioner Pape's background,
Mhm.
2018, 2019, we did an RFP for an ERP.
I don't know what either one of those are.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
A request for proposals
Okay.
for software, basically to do all our enterprise-wide accounting platform, including HR, payroll, asset management, general ledger.
Accounts receivable, billing, invoicing, purchasing, requisitions, all of it. Yes.
So we received bids, 3 bids, 2 from the same company. The only difference was on premise in our servers or in the cloud, which was relatively new at the time. The other software didn't do the HR stuff. So we focused on one that do
To
everything.
do everything.
For a litany of reasons, it all just got shelved. COVID didn't help. I won't bore you with all that, but we're now back with the finance director, and we're working with Abdo. Abdo did the RFP for us. We spent good money on that, so we just went back to the bids that we had. We've kind of shelved the HR side of it because we're using the UKG software, and so it kind of reduces what we have to look at, and it actually brought the second bidder back into play. I didn't want to do another RFP because it was $135,000 for the first time, so we just use what we've got. And so it is kind of refining what we need from a software based on what we're now doing. So that should reduce the cost, should reduce the time to select and implement. And then I think the next 2 weeks, Monday we have, she's the one that hasn't seen it. There's people at this table that saw both the proposals before. So there's been all day Monday on one, and then I think it's Thursday on the other. And I think we shared the timeline. The idea is to come back in May with a proposal to select. We need to know the cost. We need to know
what it can do with
capabilities.
the integration with social services, SSIS. So there's some key pieces, but it's just changing the way we do business and allowing us to have visibility, and everybody. It's really hard to tie out your finances when you don't have visibility to all the things in the different aspects. And we rely on each department to do their part, but having accounts receivable, one system that manages that would be huge to make sure to track, what are we, who's managing, are we getting the money, are we not getting the money, when do we write things off, when do we say it's not worth tracking it. But I need to have all of that declared in our financial statements, what's owed to us, and what have we billed out to people, and what do people owe us. Purchasing, requisitions, I have no visibility to any of that. And it's not that departments don't have their budget, it's more at the end of the year, I cannot tell you what I have outstanding. I'm relying on departments to provide that information to me based on their manual tracking and knowledge. And I need to be able to account for the correct expenses and revenues in the correct year. It's being able to do things faster. An online purchasing system and I'm not sure if these would have it, but with the capability to place orders online rather than, I don't know how people are placing their orders right now, probably manually, but vendor control, accounts payable control, there's just all kinds of avenues on it that we will bring us. And then quite frankly, the finance side of things right now is its own little system, and I quite literally, the only thing I can do is print a report, and some things I can download, but it's very, very hard to really track and not be able to drill in and export and look up a vendor and see all the invoices towards that vendor. That's what I'm used to. Like, okay, this is my vendor, these are all the bills. And then from there I can go into, well, where did the bills hit? And did I move it? Where's the journal entry? It's just a different way of managing it versus more manual and more spreadsheets and more tracking and relying on things like that. So would be a key piece of being able to forecast, analyze, track, manage, control some of those things. So, and a lot of counties use what we currently have. It's just bringing it into like the more current tech type systems.
And it just,
We're not a small county.
we're able to put the trust in the numbers that we're seeing versus,
And managing it differently. Yeah. So I think, the goal for the department is finance should be collaborating and working with all of the different departments to really support them with what they need to do and what their goals are. But there's a lot of parts of finance that others are doing that really finance should be doing, so those departments can focus on what their purpose is,
right.
not managing the finances. So we're here to kind of make it, make it easier for them, hopefully, eventually, once we get there. And, but finance director, because I'm responsible for the audit and all the money, like, needs to have visibility to those things. So I know that we're getting everything accounted for correctly from that standpoint.
This
So it's
is
just different.
light years ahead of where we were 25 years ago. Back then, we had a real buildings crunch, especially for the jail,
Mhm,
also social service and the
mhm,
court system and all of that.
mhm.
We got a project. We knew we had to do something, so we
Right,
started stashing money away as a board.
yeah,
And at the end, we sold 17.5 million in bonds to pay for the jail. But the whole project was 25.5 million.
so you had to
And
fund.
we had stashed away $8 million. So we paid cash
Mhm,
like old farmers or whatever
mhm.
for projects and paid it in advance so that everything in that government center other than the jail was paid for
Before.
right from construction on.
Mhm,
And now we've paid off the bonds on the jail too. So
yeah,
that whole thing.
Yeah.
And that last year in the old jail, we spent $430 or $40,000 just housing prisoners that we couldn't handle in other jails in other counties and such. So we eliminated that expense in the process of all of that too.
mhm.
But that's my history lesson for the day.
History lesson for the day. I did attach behind the, I forgot to mention it, the definitions of the fund balances, just so you have a reference.
I like that.
And there's some examples, and this is right out of the GASB. So GASB is Governmental Accounting Standards Board, which is what we have to abide by. They put the standards and the statements out there, and then that's basically kind of, I don't want to say dictate, but that is what we have to account for. So just so you have a reference of what the different type of fund balances are. But it's really important to know when we're doing our budgets and our expenditures where all of those things flow into which fund balance. But again, the fund balance is done, calculated kind of at the end of the year after everything is done and accounted for. So we won't have 25's fund balance, ending fund balances until probably August, September. Because that's, the auditors won't be here till June, July by the time we do the book. So it is, my goal would be to be able to, in another year, be able to be projecting out those fund balances sooner, because that is too long for me to be comfortable with, to project out. So baby steps.
Right.
This will be the first one, but capital improvement will be a big part of a big change just from the county lens of bringing it all together. So it'll, again, baby steps. There'll be draft 1, 2. We'll get better at it.
And you said the capital fund will be over 10,000, correct?
We'll bring the policy back. The recommendation current right now is to raise it. The current policy, I think, has anything 5,000, but the auditor recommendation and other counties, 10,000 is the recommended limit. Actually, I think some counties have even gone higher. You can go higher than that because, again, once you set that limit, anything at or over that limit has to be tracked. So if you set it too low, you're tracking things that are not worth tracking, and you're having to depreciate. You're having to track it. You're having to declare it. So you want to set it high enough so that it is worth running the depreciation schedules on and tracking it. To do it on a computer is not, you don't want to do it on computers. Now, in bulk, some people will look at the bulk purchase of a computer as a capital. So there is a difference, but one unit, no. On a bulk major replacement, a server, some of those things, depending on the cost, yes, you would want to.
Yeah, and that's, I was wondering, like, okay, that every year so many computers are replaced. So is it the total amount of all of them or each individual?
We used to be able to do the individual, but I believe there is an update to the standards that say we have to account for technology in different parts. So now I think we have to take the whole. If we buy them as a whole, we have to look at them as a whole.
Okay.
But that'll be part of the policy, we'll get into those details. But that is what guides then what is accounted for as capital versus, we may call some things capital that really aren't capital asset, that fall under the capital asset policy. There's still big purchases, even if they fall under that 10,000 threshold. Not that they're not capital, but there's a difference in when we say capital asset, tracking, accounting for GASB versus $5,000 for computers. It's still in a big purchase. It needs to be in the budget, but there's true capital is what is the capital policy say.
Right, yeah. Okay.
So it kind of is a little bit of a balance, but
Yeah.
there's a difference.
But then, like you said, there's, different regulations for different things.
Yep,
so.
and I got to get a little more current on some of those changes.
I hope you find the software or
One of the
One of
two.
them, yep.
Yeah, we're gonna cross our fingers to do it, but we'll see.
Yeah,
So we'll have, so we're behind. We had wanted those to you sooner. We will get those to you for the next board meeting so we can kind of start next stages. Because we
Yeah.
want that capital policy updated as of January.
Mhm,
That will change how we book things.
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Or actually back to January of 25, because that'll change how we book things in 25 as we close out 25.
Yeah,
We need to get it back. And we can do that.
yeah. It's been a long time coming.
yes.
We're getting there, baby steps.
Well, thank you again for all your work and just sticking with it.
Yeah, it'll be good. Now that payroll's done, we can do some of the other things.
Thank you.
Move on to the next fun project.
Yep. Next one. Thank you. Have a good
Yep.
day.
You too.
It was one of the best hires we've ever made.
Melody.
Yes. First of all, I want to apologize. My world's been upside down a little bit. Friday, I found out I had skin cancer, and yesterday I had to have it removed. So my calendar is all wacky. So I apologize. I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm
No,
sorry.
we're fine. Glad that you could still make it.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. So I'm the new CEO for Tri-Valley Opportunity Council. I have had the honor to take the place of Jason Carlson, who had big shoes to fill. He was a great leader. So I'm excited to carry the torch on of what he started. We have lots going on right now. Our biggest priority is to ensure that our service users' needs are met. With the political climate, we have lots of service users that are scared to seek services. And then we have some that are thinking doom and gloom the worst, that services are going away. So we're doing lots of I don't think we anticipated the mental health aspect of that. We're doing lots of reassuring people to use their community resources, lots of education around what the resources are. So right now, I think that's our biggest priority is these are our resources. They're still here. Let's utilize them while they're here, with the end goal being let's end poverty. And as we know, that's not going to happen overnight for a lot of our families and that we serve. It's starts with education. So we're helping them to seek out education opportunities, whether that is, maybe they're interested in cooking. So it's not necessarily a degree at a university, but seeking out courses to help them with skills that they can use to help bring themselves out of poverty, so they aren't so dependent on the community that they currently are. So we're doing lots of building up and helping people to break the cycles of poverty in a kind way. Right now, the biggest need is our seniors, especially now they're kind of inside a lot and not networking with others. So we're seeing they've got some people are calling it the winter blues. So we're trying to come up with ways to get them out of their homes and network. We're using things like transportation to do that, to get them out and network with one another, because it seems like something small to us, but when you're confined to your home, that's quite the big deal. So I'm just learning my new roles and anxious to support the community in the ways that we need. Not looking to make any major changes right now, just to carry the torch that Jason started. I've met with him last week about what were things that you had in progress that you want me to make sure I don't miss. And basically, it's find out what the needs are right now in the community and the line services towards that.
So you kind of provide a lot of the same services like Intercounty does.
Yes, a lot of those same services. And it's sad that a lot of folks look at us as a handout instead of a hand up. So this morning we were at a meeting and we were talking about we encountered a family that didn't have winter coats for their children. So the staff person worked with them on a plan to get the winter coats versus going out and buying the winter coats or going out and having those winter coats donated. And that's the key to break those cycles, is to help them come up with a plan of what can I do? How can I be part of the solution? And just build on that. And that's what sets it apart from what, we've got that, I don't know, that misjudgment or that myth out there that we're just doing handouts, and it's not. It's a lot of education of how can we prevent this from happening in the future.
Are you finding like the resources that you need to help clients? Do we have the resources that you need, or are there certain areas that we're lacking?
Right now, federally, we're all worried about the cuts that could come down.
Mhm.
We're maintaining where we are right now. We're feeling comfortable about that. But if the federal cuts do come down as anticipated, that will be a huge hit for us. So we will have to figure that out.
Mhm.
But we've done lots of Hill visits lately, and what we're hearing from senators and legislators is I was surprised less about the data that we're presenting and more about the success stories about making it real for them. So we've done lots of, that's one of our priorities right now at Tri-Valley is to get those success stories out, because unfortunately in Minnesota, community action and those that are serving vulnerable individuals were in the news for not so favorable circumstances. And so what we are doing is putting out the success stories of this is what we're doing. We are using the dollars. We're being fiscally responsible, and this is the outcome of that. This is what that looks like for our community. And that's definitely one of our biggest priorities, is sharing out what we are doing and not being a hidden secret, so that we can gain the trust back.
Yeah, I think that the trust is a huge issue. And I mean, it's just,
It is.
it's throughout.
Absolutely. And we're also doing a lot of professional development with staff, because it's really important that we take those opportunities. Our community is not staying the same. It's changing, it's evolving. And so we need to do that as well. And the only way to stay on top of that is through professional development. So we're doing a big push right now currently for people to sign up for classes, for workshops, things that'll help them be on top of what's coming our way and be able to be effective in our service delivery too.
Anybody else have any other questions or?
And the opportunity to be a part of the search committee. And I don't think I've ever found anyone more enthusiastic about this position in Crookston, Minnesota.
I just love it.
Incredible.
I just love it.
And I think a big part of that is your background. Could you be willing to share?
Absolutely. I'll share my background. First, and you may have noticed my accent's a little weird. I'm from North Carolina. And I can remember the day I decided that I was not okay with where I was. And so I had only an associate's degree, was going to work every day, but my family still qualified for community services. And I thought, my husband and I, we had 5 children. We have 5 children, and I thought this is not okay for them to think this is it. So I was in a small rural town in North Carolina, and knew that community action is where my heart was. So I wanted to stay with helping others, but all I had was an associate's degree. And I thought I'm going to start seeking out, other opportunities to move away and to try to move forward. And I applied at Tri-Valley, and I got the job as the family community services manager. And I can remember whenever I had to write a check for my son's doctor bill, I cried. I was so excited, because I was like, I made it. I finally broke the cycle for my family. And it just the opportunities that came with that to further my education, to make a difference and show others, if I can do it, you can do it. There's no difference, in me and other people. And so I've been there. I've had to worry about, am I going to pay the power bill, or, buy the groceries I need, making those hard choices. My husband and I, as we were driving back from Mayo last night, we kind of giggled. I was like, you remember that time I made this not so smart choice and got a speeding ticket because I was going too fast? And we were like, how are we going to pay this ticket? And we had to take it from our rent money. And so it's it's such a blessing to have walked in those shoes, but not to have to continue to do that. So I can relate to a lot of
Mhm.
people that we've served, and I've just been blessed with the opportunities that I've given. And so I did that, and got promoted to the assistant director of Head Start, and did that for a few years. And then Lori passed away, and that was our Head Start director. And I knew I couldn't be the one to fill her shoes, but that would be the next step for me. So I thought, well, this is a good opportunity for me to go down south, closer to family. So I moved down there, and within 6 months, I was like, oh my goodness, this is not home. Like we want Crookston. Crookston was home because the community just embraced us, and like there's so much positivity here. And when we broke the chains of poverty, I like to say, in North Carolina, people were upset. You're forgetting your raising, you're forgetting where you're from, your roots. How dare you leave? And we lost a lot of family over that. Like people were upset. How dare we do that? And so people here have just embraced us, and we've grown, and we've adopted 2 children from here. Like this is where we belong. This is our home. So when Jason retired and my phone started blowing up with people, at first I was like, Jason, what is Tri Valley going to do? My heart was broken for him. My heart was broken for Tri Valley, and it wasn't about applying for it. It was like, please don't do this. Reconsider. And then he was like, no, I'm going to do this. And people started saying, you should apply. You should apply. And I thought, I'm not the type of person that gets positions like that. Like I'm the person, that's not what, my past, it's unbelievable how far I feel like I've come with the opportunities I've been provided. So I applied and went through a not so easy interview process that drug on for months. And I thought, I'm not going to make it, but I'm going to make them tell me no. I'm not going to tell myself no. And so when I got it, I was just thrilled. Our family was thrilled. We got to come back up here. And this is just where we feel like we belong. And Tri Valley is hopefully going to be my retirement job because I just love it. I love what we do for the community, that we really do lean into what they need and align our services that way. So it's a great opportunity, not only for me, but for our community, just to have a helping hand because, sometimes it's circumstances. We're all one circumstance away from having a hardship. So to have places like Tri Valley there to pick up the need is great.
Yeah, and I think, that the partnership for the family resource centers.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's where, like you mentioned that, you help people to figure out how to make things work,
Right.
and that's, I think, is amazing.
Right. For some families that are homeless, it's to get them into an apartment. We don't want them to buy their first house or set the goal so that they fail. Let's get something realistic. And so finding a modest apartment, that's a huge accomplishment. And so some of our families do have home ownership as their goals, and they're in a different situation. So it's very individualized, the services that we provide, which makes us a little bit unique. That I don't think people understand. So that's another reason we're trying to get stories out there, is so that people understand we're not throwing money at problems. We are building skills to work through problems, and then our families are able to navigate struggles and not repeat, hopefully, the same struggles over and over. And I'm not saying we don't have repeat offenders, as everybody we do, but we do have some amazing success stories and some people that have really moved forward with our help. So it's an exciting place to be.
Little
Because
enthusiasm there.
you started in Crookston as a youth, right?
Yeah.
And with Head Start,
I was in Head Start as a child too, and then a parent who just took advantage of some of the classes they offered and then got a job. And so just kept building my way up and taking advantage of all the classes and the workshops they offered. And so now I have my master's degree. My family and I are kind of joking, do you want to do the doctorate or not? So I'm not quite sure because that's so much work.
Yeah.
And with this job, I have my hands full. So maybe in the future, not right now, but yeah, definitely just love where I'm at and who I
Yeah.
serve.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's great to have a dream, but when it boils to, you need to be realistic.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, it's, um, unfortunately that, these are things that are needed.
Absolutely. And it's not a lot, as a community, we don't like to think about these things, that we have people that are hungry in our community, that we have people that worry about having their basic needs met. It's not something you want to celebrate in your communities, but we embrace it and we do the best, and we do it in a way that is full of kindness and not degrading. And so it really is. It's a work full of um, I feel like I get more than I give, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding.
Yep, it fills your cup too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
It looks like you've got several employees going to the CAP conference. Maybe
Yes.
you can
yeah,
talk
'cause
a little
it's
bit
in
about what
Bemidji.
that is. And
Yes. So we're part of a community action agency. So every employee we have is part of a promise. It's a community action promise that we will do our part to break the chains of poverty. So with that, we're part of a community action partnership that's nationwide and one that's specific to Minnesota. So all of our community action agencies in Minnesota get together, and we have workshops and trainings that are about how to move out of poverty and train staff. So we have lots of staff attending that, which is going to be great. You get to network with other agencies and what's working with them and stuff that didn't work with them, so we don't have to repeat the same mistakes. I think just the networking piece alone, outside of the training that we get, is phenomenal because, um, you know, you feel like you're in this on this island by yourself, like, oh, I don't know what to do, and then you have people that have tried different things, it didn't work or it did work, and so we get a lot out of the networking, and then we get specific training on how to make a difference and move the needle in the community. So it's a great opportunity. We're also training staff on how to do Hill visits, how to talk to your community leaders, your state leaders, and what to say and what to bring forward. So we are excited to start giving staff packets once they're trained that they can take with them to do part of these visits, and educate people, about what we are, and not do it from a Democrat or a Republican standpoint, but just a human standpoint. This is what we're doing. We're working with humans, and this is what we need your help to help, to move forward.
Yeah, yeah. I know I went to a few years ago it was in Bemidji then too, and I know I went, to some of the um sessions and stuff that year, and it just has not worked for me to, go back again. But now one of the speakers, um, she was from Intercounty, that she received services there, her family
Mhm.
did. And, just she'll talk about how she has, because she even spoke at, it was a conference in New York.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so she'll be, I think she's a speaker like right before lunch or something. So,
Mhm. That's exciting. We
mhm.
do have somebody from Bemidji that we just hired. Her name is, or we contract with Becky. I can't remember her last name off the top of my head, but she's going to do leadership training with every supervisor in our agency, because part of the making sure that we're showing our success in the community is making sure we're also holding ourselves accountable fiscally, and with each position that we hold, we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can. So she's going to train us on having effective professional development plans, effective performance appraisals, as well as having those hard conversations with asking questions, about, or how come we're not having the outcomes as expected, and having those hard conversations with staff to try to figure it out up front versus waiting until it snowballs and having to let staff go. So really investing on the front end of that. So we're pretty excited about that. It's going to be a 6-month course, so it's quite the dedication, but I really think it's going to help us to show that our program is doing the best we can to be fiscally responsible and hold staff accountable. So really excited about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, it sounds like you're doing well with following behind Jason. So,
I'm trying. There's lots to learn. Lots to learn. I got an amazing board though that hold me accountable, and they're great to work with. So great leaders to work with.
yeah, well, that's good.
And I apologize again for being late. I'm so sorry.
we made it work.
Yep. Yeah, it's,
is it, Becky Schuler?
It is Becky Schuler. Yeah,
I've taken some courses. with her.
have you? Is she good?
Yeah,
We're
she's
so
very
excited. Good. Yeah.
mhm.
We're really excited to have her train. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I went through some trainings with her, and I'm trying to remember what it was for, with who. But yeah, couple years ago, I think I did. So,
So we're looking forward to it.
yeah. So that's, you take all the opportunities that you can get.
And if you don't like us and follow us on Facebook, please do. That's where lots of these stories that I'm talking about are going to be coming out. Lots of the outcomes that we have going on, we're going to try to share there and on our website. So hopefully people will notice all the good stuff happening.
Yeah, well, that's good. So, okay. Anything else from anybody?
You meet with our human services people frequently.
I'm sorry, I didn't get
Do you get together with counties?
I do.
Human
That's a great
services?
point. That was one thing when I took the position I wasn't aware of is that the amount of collaboration that takes place up here up north, because usually it's kind of I've noticed community actions might be a little bit siloed, but here everybody works together because, I think some people think once you're past, I don't know, St. Cloud, Minnesota stops and they forget, that we're up here and we're all trying to take this little pot of money and make it work. So I meet with a lot of different agencies here in Crookston and just in the northern part of the state about how can we work together and not duplicate services, but make most of the money that we're given. So with the health department, school systems, a lot of different things that we work together so that we aren't duplicating, but we're making the money go as far as we can. And so it's kind of exciting that we do that. And I wasn't aware of that before I accepted this position. So when I go to the southern part of the state and they're not as collaborative, I'm kind of like, we've got it going on. We know what we're doing up north. You guys may have the population, but we've got the skills up there. So it's exciting to be a part of such a good group of leaders that want to collaborate and make sure the community's getting the needs that met that it has.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you for bringing that up. I almost forgot about that. That's important.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You have anything else?
Just a reminder, you all received an invite to the investiture for Judge Rasmussen.
When is that?
April 17th.
No,
Right?
no,
No?
28,
April.
At least I did put it on.
April
Right
20,
there, I got it right from
24th.
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 I think we'll get some more information on that. Stop by and visit it last week. I thought she said there was going to be something with Justice Center done for reception at UMC, but it's only talks about UMC. But if I get more, I'll let you know.
Black tie event. You know how I feel about black ties, but I'm working
Better than
on
a black gown.
it. Maybe they're gonna be there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you saw my email on what she told me. You've got the Township Association tomorrow night. Sorry, I'm not coming. I'm driving to St. Paul. And there's one other thing. Oh yeah, you already mentioned the court hearing for
Yeah, on the 17th.
West Central on the 17th. That can be, I think, viewed online.
And in person at at our courthouse and in Moorhead.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be.
Up until I was double booked, I was going here and you were gonna go there. That's what we talked about at the meeting. But now I can't go here, so if somebody would be willing to go to the courthouse here, that'd be awesome.
I mean, I'll just.
Cause it'll be in the courtroom there.
That was my initial intention with that being at the meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah. What time is it? The hearing at?
1 o'clock.
Yeah, we're gonna meet at noon for a little
Meeting at
lunch
noon
and
for lunch, and then 1 o'clock.
we'll get some direction on where to be.
Yeah.
And that's all supposed to be there.
We don't all have to be there. It would be just be if anybody from the community, from the county constituents show up and they had questions, you could at least refer them to Lucas or Warner and we direct them to where they could get the best information.
Yeah, because I'm actually in the cities that day because I got an AMC board of directors meeting. So and we go from 10 to 2:30, so I probably won't be able to.
You can watch it online.
Yeah.
We got it covered.
Yep.
And I think they will spend time responding to questions at the hearing.
At the hearing as well.
Mm-hmm.
That mailer that went out, they went over that
Every
so it's pretty complete. I mean, we've had it in our newsletter. We've had it. They've been through cities, talking to city councils, township boards. We'll see who this tomorrow night. So,
Yep.
People are aware of it. Hard part is the money to extend lines.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the bottom line is nobody pays for anything unless they want it.
Yeah.
The engineering can be done to get those out there.
That's the biggest question I had even around Fertile. Every time somebody would see me, they'd ask me, what about this mailing? Is it required? It says absolutely not. Nothing's required.
No.
I just tell them it'd be best to get it to your doorstep for future reference when that time comes.
We don't send out bank statements. Sam, I mean, it's required, but those are out, so we're getting some calls. One is filing, by the way.
Tomorrow at the meeting.
Yeah, I think it's
May 12th.
It'll be
May.
right around the
Yeah.
middle of May or May.
Yeah.
Remember that because we got 2 seats here, and I think there are 2. The sheriff and the attorney as well.
Right.
As far as cost of the district, I think the best explanation I give is that it's either by grants to pay for the main lines or by the users.
By the users.
There's no taxpayer money.
That's right. That's what I tell them too.
Yep.
It won't be assessed.
Yep. So that's. Oh yeah. So, anything else then?
That's enough.
You look like you're ready to go.
I am. I've got packed up.
There's 4 of you that just touch on with something, 2 of you, 2 things. So.
Okay. Well, otherwise then.